And we're going to start the class, friends and family, um, doing some active seat work. So what I'd like to do is come down into Badakanasana. You can use a block underneath your sitting bones just to get your hips a little bit higher than the knees. So Badakanasana is the bottoms of the feet together and the knees out. And just finding this position, this is also known as butterfly. Finding this position, we're just going to turn on our deeper awareness. Just take a minute to go within. Maybe start to just connect to that deep posterior lateral breath. And we'll visualize our pelvis as a punch bowl, right? And you want that punch bowl to be flush to the surface you're sitting on. So you want the rim of the punch bowl, the rim of your pelvis, to be parallel to the ground you're sitting on. Not tilting back, not overly tilted forward, just right. And right there, you feel connection in the low abdominals. You feel some connection in the low back to sustain this alignment. Now, the closer you bring your feet to your body, the more it's going to take your intrinsic core to be able to sustain alignment in this position. A little further out, it'll be a little easier to hold position. Now we'll start to draw alignment up the spine, right? So we have this horse, this mountain pose in the spine, the chin is tucked, the neck is long, the heads of the shoulders, everybody are drawing down the back. And right here, we've got a little bit of low grade work or low medium grade work, just working on sustaining this position in alignment. Let's bring the hands out to the sides here and tent the fingers on the mat. Stay connected to that deep posterior lateral breath I always talk about through the belly and the side of the body in the back. Now we're going to keep the arms straight and strong. So that's triceps on the upper arms. Elbows are as straight as your body wants them to be today. We're going to have the fingertips tented on the mat, spread wide like we're doing mountain pose. And then we're just going to inhale the hands, palms forward, straight mountain pose arms to about shoulder level, and then hold there. Now, if you can reach the hands away from each other and keep the fingers spread, shoulders moving down the back, away from the ears, you might get a nice stretch in the fascia of the arms, the forearms, the biceps. Keep that active oppositional reach in the arms and start to reach the arms high overhead, straight elbows. Good. Bring the palms facing each other. Let's take 2 breaths there, really feeling the triceps work to keep the arms as straight as possible in mountain pose. Second breath, keep the palms forward now as we bring them parallel to the floor. Keep reaching them away from each other. Each successive breath, we're trying to get the hands maybe a 1/16 of an inch further away from each other. 1 deep breath. Exhale, bring the hands down to the floor, maybe just touching the pinkies down to the ground. And then I'm going to have you do that one more time. Let's inhale the hands up so that the arms are parallel to the floor. And once you're there, once the arms are parallel to the floor, We're going to hold the arms straight, triceps on arms, shoulders down the ears. Sitting bones rooted. Fantastic. Breathing in this position. And again, if this is a tough Badakanasana to sustain, maybe put something underneath your pelvis, underneath your bum to get your pelvis a little higher. Badakanasana is tough, and then we're going to inhale from parallel, hands up overhead. And now we're going to breathe in here and feel the shirt tighten on our back. Exhale, connect to the intrinsic core, right? Trying our best to lift the pelvic floor muscles, wrap the abdominals around the waist. Let's do that one more time. And then we'll exhale, arms down to parallel to the ground. And remember, again, just this oppositional reach is what we're going for. We're trying to really stretch this upper T. One deep breath here, allowing for that rib cage and belly and back to expand. And then exhale, slowly let the hands migrate down to the ground and then shake it all off. I love that type of thing. Part of the thing I like about yoga is you can just move your arms, or you can make that real work, you know, trying to connect there isometrically. And you can do that based on how you're feeling. You know where I lean toward it. All right, let's grab our stick, everybody. Okay, I want to do some active twisting here from our Badakanasana. So just get the stick near you, and then maybe windshield wiper the knees left to right. Yeah, on the ground, like so. Just getting a little bit of this because we are definitely working the hip flexors here. And so I'm going to demo what's going on here real quick, or just the setup. We're going back into our Badakanasana. And so this requires a somewhat long staff, but you're going to go as far as you can with the stick that you have. So if you have a broomstick or something small, right, Mom, it looks like you have like a 2-foot bobber there. Just go as wide as you can with what you've got. If you've got something wider, then go wider. If you're like me, you can go all the way here. Either way, the stick is going on our shoulders. I'm going to take a look at everybody here. Okay, good. All right, you look fine. Everyone looks good. Yeah. So hold on. I'm doing this because my arms go all the way wide, but hold on with your hands. Good. Excellent. So now what we're going to do is, since we're all holding on with our hands and we're in Badakanasana, bottoms of the feet together, knees out, sitting on the sits bones just like we were before. You're gripping that bar and you're trying to stretch it isometrically. You're trying to make it longer in both directions. Shoulders are moving down the back because of that action. It's kind of putting a magnifier on that upper back connection here. So we've got a little work. It's almost as if, I'm trying to stretch the bar out. Good. Now, this is some real abdominal work. What we're going to try to do is keep both of our sitting bones connected to the floor, keep that upper back connection. We're going to inhale to elongate the spine, and then we're going to exhale and twist toward our right knee without changing anything else in our body, right? This is a spine twist, using the abdominals wrapping around the waist. And then we're going to breathe there for about 3 seconds, or 3 breaths, excuse me. Keep pulling on that bar. Keep the spine long. Inhale, elongate the spine, expand the ribs. Exhale, try to connect to that twist a little bit more. And then inhale to center. Woo. Reach the bar overhead. Good. And now we're going to hinge forward at the hips. Now we don't want, ideally, the arms to move independently of the spine. The spine is hinging forward off the hips, and the arms are coming with the spine as a consequence. So this is an active end range hinge in Badakanasana. A lot of connections here though, but they're all mountain pose connections. We know what those are: good long spine, good long arms, back and core connection, chin tuck to neck long. And then we'll inhale up. So we're upright again in our Badakanasana. We're going to bring the staff back down on our shoulders. Inhale, elongate the spine just a tiny bit. We're talking 1/16 of an inch. Exhale to twist toward the left knee. Again, gang, we're keeping both sitting bones rooted. We're trying to stretch our stick here, right? We're trying to stretch the staff. And we're using our deep abdominals to wrap the spine and turn our shoulder girdle and our head with it. And trying to keep our whole low body unchanged. Even that right knee really wants to come up, but try to keep it down. One more breath. Inhale to center. Now, take your stick, reach forward with the stick as far as you can. You can reach the stick along the ground so you can get nice and deep in this Badakanasana, and you can relax the head so that it can just rest easy on the feet or close to the feet, or maybe nowhere close to the feet, but closer to the feet than it would be if it was totally straight, right? Now, can we roll the spine up, basically from the pelvis to the top of the head? So start to round the low back, and then from there, stack the lumbar vertebra, stack the thoracic spinal vertebra, stack the cervical vertebra, that's the neck vertebra, and then come upright. Woo-wee. Let's shake it off here. Okay, good. So we got a little bit of active seat and active end range twisting here. I wanna work them arms, friends, and I wanna work a foundation to a seated press. So this is one that I don't tend to make friends with. So we have our blocks, right? We're gonna take our blocks. All right, can I just kind of show you ultimately what we're aiming for when we're doing something, the why behind the thing, just real quick. It's insane, and it may not end up like this. It probably won't for most of us, because it's just not that important. But I still want to teach you the blocks to doing it, right? So in yoga, sometimes you see people press yourself up and then come back. My stick was in the way, but you've seen that, right? We're going to deconstruct that insane action there, right? Known as a jump back. All right, and we're just going to deconstruct it into pieces, because there's other ways of doing that thing too, right? You can press up and walk back. So either way, we're improving that transition. So let's take our blocks, and we're going to place our blocks. I wish that these were neon. We're going to place our blocks right at the sides of our hips. I'm exaggerating so you could see, because basically, as an East Coaster, I love wearing black. Doesn't help for a night shoot. So as I put these black blocks on my black mat next to my dark blue pants, directly next to my hips, all right, let's just start to play with the idea of pressing up. Now, this is how I have it. Exactly, Helene, so that I could grab the block instead of just dumping it all in my wrist. Step one, blocks at our sides, feet on the ground. We're just going to press up and mountain pose the arms and the shoulders here. Hey, Adam, if you don't have blocks, Mom, the whole idea of just being able to ground the shoulders and press the hands is that's the key. And you could probably get some triceps action there, or you can go to a chair, Mom, if it works, and focus on the dip there. We're basically doing dips, right? We're basically doing dips. So everybody, hold for 1 or 2 more breaths. That's it. And come down for a second. Now, I want to impress something on you, since sure, it's good exercise, but I want you to learn it. The further your arms are away from you, the much more you're going to be relying on force to hold yourself in place. So what's useful? Just like chaturanga, just like many other things we've talked about, acrobats curl. Keep your elbows in at your sides as much as possible. Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up if you know what I'm talking about. Hug the arms into the sides. Mom, maybe 2 chairs even. That way you can get like right under it, just like we're doing here. But elbows in at the sides, squeezing up. Let's take 3 deep breaths here, looking directly forward. Both feet are still on the ground. Come back down. Let's do some wrist care. So we're keeping the ribs in, we're keeping the shoulders down, triceps are on the arms, and elbows are squeezing in. This is our acrobats curl. Now we're going to do this. We're going to press up, and we're going to try to take 1 foot off the ground. Okay? So here we go. We're going up, we're pressing up, and we're taking 1 foot off the ground. 3 deep, slow breaths. And then lower yourself down with control. Switch your legs since we're in Sukhasana here. So if your left leg was in front, now your right leg's in front. Shake it off, wrist care. We're going to do this 1 more time. Closer the blocks are into the sides. Right now our elbows are bent, so we want the elbows to be back, squeezing back. We're going to press down. We're going to lift our right leg, and we're going to hold 3 breaths, squeezing the elbows in at the sides. Feel the back and the chest engage for this. And then lower yourself down. Keep taking that wrist care, massaging the wrists and the hands. All right, so pressing yourself up with your legs crossed is a bit of a horse of a different color, right? So the big key here is not crossing your ankles, but crossing your shins. Pulling your knees up into your chest as you do that, so that you can make yourself as tight like a ball as possible, okay? So now let's give it the old college try, everybody. Elbows back, keep mountain pose in the shoulders. We're going to press up, keep the elbows into the sides, and lift the legs straight up. Keep the shins crossed. And I'm going to have you take 3 breaths there. If you're doing 1 foot, just try to poke the foot up and down. and then lower down. Good. Take some wrist care. I figured I could do this today because, you know, we just had core challenge, so you're rootin' tootin' ready for this. So this is a pretty high up, I know. This is pretty high up on the difficulty scale, right? I mean, being able to hold your legs up like this, putting this pressure on your wrists. But ultimately, anything that helps us get up from the ground, I find to be a life skill, right? So useful to a modern yoga practice. All right, a little bit more gentle. We're gonna go straight into a wide angle on the floor. That means legs are going out to the sides here. All right, let's take a hold of our staff of Hanuman. Good. And we're gonna hold on to that stick, I'd say just outside shoulder width. So you want your thumbs to be kind of at the outside border of your shoulders. Yeah. Excellent. So with the feet wide, what we want here is we want to attempt to align the feet straight up, which also means that the kneecaps are facing straight up. Externally rotating the legs is another way of saying that. Power wrists. So a big tendency for all of us is to bend our hands back. Try to get the belly of the forearm, that's the underside of the forearm, working to make your wrist completely straight, okay? Elbows in at your sides, and then you're just going to hinge forward. We're keeping our sitting bones rooted. It's a small action here. Don't force it because we're putting our weight into our glutes and our hamstrings. So just a little bit of a hinge forward. And then we're going to come back to center. So what do we need to do to make that more stable? Next time we try this, let's start to hinge forward, pull the kneecaps onto the legs, flex the feet as opposed to pointing them, and squeeze your glutes together a little bit. Core connection is key here, and this will help keep you more stable, more strong in this position. One breath here, this slight hinge, and then we'll inhale up. Small action, but requires a lot of the musculature on the back of the legs. Okay, so now we've got this narrow grip on the bar. All I want to do is squeeze the right elbow into the right oblique or the right hip. So this is a side bend in the spine. My right obliques are really working to squeeze my right ribs into my right obliques. So the right side of my body is really contracted, but the left side of my body is really open here, and I'm breathing into my ribs. Inhale, exhale, switch sides. The head is moving with the spine. So now the left side of my body is squeezing and the right side of my body is opening. I'm going to come on over to you and take a look-see. So we should feel a lot of engagement on one side and a good amount of opening on the other. And again, we're making this shape with our spine, right? A side bend. We do this a lot in triangle, extended side angle, our dolphin action. Let's go to the other side on your next exhale. And then I want inhale, exhale, switch. Inhale, exhale to switch. Inhale, exhale to switch. And let's just play with that at the pace of your own breath for the next minute or so. So we're just going from Acrobats Curl on one side to Acrobats Curl on another side, tick-tocking the upper spine. Should feel really nice to get this mobility in the spine and in the rib cage. It's beautiful out, isn't it, babe? Stunning. Really nice. Okay, let's do this for, I'd say, 3 to 4 more breaths. Beautiful. And let's take the stick off the shoulders. And I want to come to standing slowly. And we're going to do a little bit of wall work here. How can I do this? I think that this wall is visible if I do this like so. Aha, excellent. So I'm going to show you here. Basically, this is fun because it's not very, very difficult, but it's going to help train our chaturanga. So we want to get a down dog on the wall. All right, okay, everyone can see me. Good. We want a down dog on the wall so that basically legs are in mountain pose, pelvis is over the ankles, and we have good alignment here in the spine and the arms. Now, once we have this down dog, I'm going to have us come into a plank that is leaning on the wall. Okay, it is leaning on the wall. I'm going to have you bend the elbows down. Do you see how my elbows are bending down? And I'm going to bring my head as close to the wall as possible. And then I'm going to press myself up to plank. And then I'm going to hinge forward again and get a really nice down dog on the wall. Breathe into that a few times. I'm going to roll forward into a plank. I'm going to lower myself down, elbows back. Maybe the goal is you could touch your head to the ground or to the wall and then press yourself up. Maybe. That's the goal. Okay? So let me talk you through it a few times. So we're doing it as a family. Set up a good down dog on the wall. And what we want with that down dog on the wall ultimately is we want our pelvis aligned over our ankles. Yeah? And let's see, Helene and Terry, bring your hands a little higher up the wall. Yeah, 8 inches up the wall. Really nice. Good. So maybe everyone's spine is more on an upward angle than a total parallel to the floor, right? Just a little bit of an angle here is what we'll go with. Good. That way we could really focus on keeping the spine long. We're in down dog. Arms are engaged straight. Index fingers are parallel to one another so that the arms can externally rotate. I think, Terry, you can externally rotate the arms a little more. Milan, you could too. So turn the hands out on the wall. Take a look at your index fingers and get them perfectly parallel. Good. So your back muscle works. Breathe into the back. And now we're going to try to roll the spine. Here's how you do this. Tuck your tailbone. Feel your low back round. And let that round travel up to the middle back. And then the round travels to the upper back. And the neck. Beautiful, Mom. That is really good. And then you let the head roll up to upright. And if you've done that, then you are in a leaning plank on the wall. A little bit of work here. Stay in that plank for a second. Keep the arms straight, keep the legs straight. Good stretch for the backs of the calves if you're on an angle here. But the body is totally straight from the top of the head to the heels. The arms are straight from the hands to the shoulders. Let's take one deep breath. Feel the shirt tighten on the backs. Exhale, let's start to bend the elbows down toward the ground and let the body travel as close to the wall as you can while maintaining your alignment. Hold at your deepest place for just one breath, and then on 3, we'll press up. 1, 2, 3, and we want to be able to press up into mountain pose. How'd we do there, everybody? I was demoing too. Were we able to land in that balance point, that mountain pose position? Helene, you got a question? Looks
Yes,
like
I seem to be having trouble bending my elbows.
Yes. So another good thing is really take a look, right? Are your hands like this, right? Or are they like this?
How should they be?
Well, if we're bending our elbows down, we want that external rotation in the arms. And I find that makes it just that slight bit so that your index fingers are parallel to each other, just like our plank and our down dog on the floor. That just helps you bend the elbows down a little bit because you're more able to externally rotate.
Okay.
It helps you just draw the shoulders back. Also, just for everybody, just so you know, in chaturanga, your elbows are stacked over your wrists. In this wall variation, they're not, right? Your elbows are closer to the ground than your wrists are. So that's some work right there. Let's do it again.
Can you maybe demonstrate it like quickly, like with a quick?
Yeah, I'll do it real quick. Down dog. You're going to roll forward to plank. You're going to bend the elbows back, and then you're going to press up. One more time. Down dog. You're rolling the spine to your plank. Bend the elbows down. Press up.
Nice. Thank you.
No problem, Dan. Let's rock and roll. I should do that more. All right, so play with this at your own time and pace. Terry, you got a question, man? Okay. I am here for questions, dear friends. The setup, the first pose is down dog. So give me a down dog on the wall. Yep. And then your next step is you would tuck the tailbone and roll the spine up into a plank on the wall. And then from your plank, you would bend the elbows down toward the ground. So that's your chaturanga. And then you press to balance mountain pose. Let's do it 3 more times. Terry, your hands are not in mountain pose, good sir. Boom. That's what I want. Yeah. Right? No vacation there. Let's do it one more time. All right. You do it you do it 3 more times at your own pace, and then I want to move on. Yeah. Yeah. So that all we're doing is carrying that straight line in the body from our chaturanga on the wall to mountain pose. So that line in the body stays totally straight, ideally. That's what we're aiming for. Good. And when you're ready, shake it all off. Take some wrist care. We still put some weight on the hands. Ah, very nice there, Terry. I saw that this time. I caught those hands. Nice. Okay. So, that's one of those things. We do that every single day. Just waking up or something like that in between work. You'll be doing real chaturanga on the floor in no time. All right, so it is wall squats time, Helene. We've waited too long for this. So if you have a ball, then that's great. Okay. If you have a foam roller and not a ball, then you can use a foam roller. So this is a deep squat at the wall. So what this is, I think we've all done, many of us have done this. So if you know it, go ahead and start. We're going to place the ball at the low back. The feet are shoulder width apart, and they're a couple feet from the wall, everybody. Oops. I'm demonstrating to know on here. So the feet are a couple of feet from the wall and they're shoulder width apart. Feet are parallel. The ball is at your low back and your hands are forward. Then we're going to go down into a squat 90 degrees in the legs and hold there 2 or 3 breaths and then press up. So the ball or the foam roller or the towel is helping you roll or slide down the wall. Got 90 degree in the legs and then I press up. So we're doing that just a few times just to cue up the legs. Your pelvis is staying under your shoulders the whole time. That means your tailbone is just a couple of inches off the wall. And then once you feel that you're warmed up, then we're going to carry that squat as low as we can. So tailbone stays just a couple inches off the wall. And then we try to roll all the way down so that the bum is just a couple of inches away from the floor. Hold using the glutes and the core and the quads, and then press yourself up. So we're practicing our deep squat archetype on the wall, and the ball is helping us roll. I'm going to give you a side view while everyone's working that. Hey, Terry, you can bring your feet a little more forward, a couple of inches, man. That'll give you a little more space. Yeah, toward the middle of the room. So mom, right? This is just squat time, basically. Squat time in evolutionary yoga class. So just working your squats, mom, is perfectly fine. Just having the wall will let you go a little bit deeper, right? Not have to worry about staying upright yourself. Beautiful, Terry. Beautiful. Knees are staying above ankles the whole time. Hey, okay, Milan. Helene, my eyes are on you now. Very nice. Very nice, Helene. Helene, when you get to that bottom range, show me where it's tight. Point to it. Mom, can you turn your camera toward you a little bit more? It's toward the middle of the room. All right, where are you feeling tight? Ah, fronts of hips, sides of hips. Okay, okay. That's better, Mom. Thank you. Okay, so you're feeling in the hips. How are the ankles? Anything there? No? Okay. All right, that's informative. Thank you. You're also hips, Milan. Yeah, okay. Awesome, Mom. Hey, the wall works for you there. Fabulous. Well, it kind of, those lines, oh, I see. Don't fall in there. But you got that little tiny spot. All right. Listen,
So
guys,
Adam,
I want you to, yes.
I just want to tell you one thing. What I
Yeah.
feel is I get down there and then I'm stuck. I can't go anywhere. I couldn't get back up.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to interrupt other people.
No. I want you guys to keep working it though for a little bit longer, and then I want to pause after this, okay? But keep moving. Keep moving. Yep. Work them squats, family. Beautiful. Shoulders down the back. Mom, beautiful. Very good. Knees are over ankles. We got the midlines of the legs parallel to each other the whole way. Okay, now, Helene, press the entire foot into the ground. That means the inside ball of foot, the outside ball of foot, and the heel. The whole foot. I have a feeling part of it is you're just pushing the outside edge of the foot. Yeah. Okay, everyone, break, shake it off. Break, shake it off. Yep. All right, let's come together here. I'm going to be like primal evolutionary explainer, bro. See, back in the day, everybody sat around the fire like this, and that's why nobody had hip or back problems back in the day, right? Isn't that what evolutionary explainer, bro, says? All jokes aside, that is semi-true, right? When we're sitting in a way that the body was designed to sit, it is actually really helpful for that musculature. Western people don't do that, and I think this is why I want to spend so much time on this. So Helene, here's why I think everybody, if you're feeling that, Milen, I think you said this too. If you're feeling that in the front of the hip, there's a lot of reasons why that could be. But one of them is when we go that low, here's what people tend to do. They tend to take the big toe side of their foot off the ground. They roll to the outside edge of the foot. And so what that means is where your foot is rooted on the ground translates to which muscles in your legs you're actually using. Give me a thumbs up if you know what I mean, or if that makes sense. If you've only got the outside edge of the foot pushing into the ground, you're only using the outside leg muscles, right? So we want to try to root the inside ball of foot, the outside ball of foot, and the entirety of the heel into the ground as we're pressing up so that we can activate all of the musculature of the legs to help us in that squat. And that's just like a overtime retraining, right? So that's one reason why the deep squat is really hard. And then the other reason is, Helene, it's repetition. That's the mundane one too, is like the more you do this, the more that upper part of the quad gets worked. So, okay. Any questions or observations before we move on to the next segment? I'm proud of you guys. Those look good, by the way. Those look real good. Seriously. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome, guys. Everybody just look great. Milan, I demand better light. And that's coming from the guy with the ring light and no other light. I can barely see you there. Hey, there we go. That's a little better. Awesome. All right. So, all right, now we're going into like a little bit of rubber meets road. We've kind of worked the skills. And so, I'm going to show you what we're going to do first. We're basically taking everything that we've worked on and we're putting it in a flow now. And so we're going to start off kind of at the front of our mat, our workspace. Our blocks are at our sides. If you don't have blocks at the sides, that's okay. You could just have your hands on the ground, okay? Blocks at the sides or hands at the ground. Here's what I want to see. I want to see you press yourself up. Press yourself up. So just lift your hips off the ground a little bit. Feet stay on the ground. And then you're going to walk back to plank. Then, if you're using blocks, you're going to come off your blocks and go into down dog. You're going to keep your arms straight. You're going to bend your knees. And then you're going to jump your feet outside of your hands or walk your feet outside of your hands. And then we're going to go into a deep squat. And then we're going to press up. I'm going to do that quick again. So we're going to start seated, cross-legged. We're going to press into our blocks or press into the floor. That's one distinct movement. Then we're going to try our best to walk our feet back into a plank. And then we'll hold plank for some breaths. And then we'll get rid of the blocks and we'll go into a down dog and we'll hold that for some breaths. And then the arms stay straight, but the knees bend. And we'll hold that for some breaths. And then if you're feeling bold, you'll narrow your hands. Don't worry, we're going to do this in real time. And then you'll try to jump your feet outside of your hands. Or If you just want to play it a little easier, then you'll just walk your feet outside of your hands. And then we'll focus on a deep squat, and then we'll press up. Not going to make you memorize it, but I'm just showing you the sequence a couple times. That's fun and unusual. Are you ready? Let's have a seat on the ground, everyone. Yeah. Awesome. I love it. Cross-legged. Okay, so if you're using blocks, it just makes your arms a little bit longer. If you're not, you're just putting your palms on the ground. We're all pressing into our objects and moving our shoulders down our back. And then we'll lower down for a second and take some wrist care. Good. Now, press back up, take one breath, and then walk back to a plank position on the blocks and breathe through the back. Squeeze your fingertips, squeeze the mid-knuckle, and squeeze the outside palm onto the ground, or squeeze your blocks with all of your fingers evenly. One more deep breath here, and then place your knees on the ground. Sit back, take a little wrist care. We're modernizing this for modern wrists. We're taking breaks here. Beautiful, everyone. All right, hands on the mat, index fingers are going to be parallel. Index fingers are parallel. Yeah, arms are straight. Let's find a downward facing dog. Hands are on the mat. I'm taking a look at these dogs. Boy, Mom, your shoulders are awesome. You just got great shoulder mobility. You really do. Dan, widen your down dog a little bit, my dear friend. So bring your feet, yeah. And think about lengthening the upper back a little bit more, opening the chest. Beautiful. Now, head between the arms. That's it, Dan. Beautiful. That's perfect. Yeah, man. Try to snapshot that. Terry, tuck your chin a little bit, my friend, so that the crown of the head reaches the mat and you can stretch the back of the neck. Walk the feet a little bit, everyone. Keep the feet in place, but march them like you do in a vinyasa yoga class, just to get the hips moving a little bit, yeah? Looking like this. Getting a little bit mushy with it. If you need to take a second to take wrist care, do that. But our next move now is, let's take a look between our hands. Now, good. And you're going to bend your knees 1 inch off the ground, and you're going to hold that position, or 2 inches, or 3 inches off the ground. And you're going to hold that crouching puppy or crouching dog. If your knees are just a couple inches off the ground, this is a challenging position to sustain. Can you keep your ears between your upper arm bones? So we're keeping down dog. And then lower down for a moment. That's an effortful action there. Having that down dog stay in the upper body, but have the knees bend and float. That's a lot of integrity in the upper back and the shoulders. So we want to really have mountain pose in the shoulders for that. All right, so the next action in our little flow is we're doing a down dog, and we're stepping, we're jumping our feet outside of our hands. So 2 ways of doing this, everyone. We could jump with wide, or step with wide feet. Or if you have the mobility in the shoulders, you could narrow your hands. And I'm going to give you that option to choose. Now, let's play with this a couple times at your own pace. Maybe you do it in as few steps as possible, one step each foot to get to home base. Maybe if you're feeling really warmed up, you can work that crouching puppy and jump your feet outside of your hands. But let's dedicate the next minute or so to playing with that option. Again, crouching puppy, either walking the feet outside of the hands and then going back to crouching puppy. That's with the bent knees, or down dog. Walking the feet outside of the hands. And then totally unmodified, we're jumping the feet outside of the hands. Bang. And then jumping back to crouching puppy and jumping the feet outside of the hands and jumping back. Wrists are out, mama. I get it. It's a hard wrist class today. Yes. And then everybody, Dan, nice. Step back to your plank and take a child's pose. Child's pose, take some wrist care. Forearms, hands. Fabulous. All right. So now we're going to take it all home. We're just completing the action. So we're doing what we did before. This is our crouching puppy. Walk or jump the feet outside of the hands. And then lower down into your deep squat. Press up into mountain pose. Then you can lower back down into your deep squat, step, or jump back to your crouching puppy. Jump the feet, squat, mountain pose. That's an awesome deep squat, Mom.
I
The
didn't
camera-
think we were supposed to have our legs so far apart.
You know, it just all depends on your shoulder mobility, Mom. You know, if you can do a narrower down dog, or if in your down dog, you can just kind of adjust your hands so that your feet can come closer together, that's fine. Get in the way. So you got to go a little wider for this action. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yep. You could
All
do
right.
it, or at least do your best. So shake it all off. Sorry, we were all discussing. Any questions? Any other questions, anyone? Dan, hit me,
More
man.
minutes.
What, man? We're here to work. We're here to work, bro. Dan, there you go, man. Get after it. Listen, that 2 minutes you could fill with 10 seconds of this drill. But just let's take 2 more minutes to focus on it here. Here we go. Come on, everybody. You can do it. From mountain pose. Deep squat. Ha! Good. Hands inside the feet. Jump back. Crouching puppy. Good. Take a look between the hands. Jump. Good wide feet. Low squat. Press up. A wider foot mountain pose. Lower down into the squat. Hands down. Jump back. Crouching puppy. Maybe if you feel like down dogging, you could down dog. Bend the knees, crouching puppy. Jump. Lower down. Press up. Flat. Shake it all off. Perfect. This is a casually paced class, I would say. You know? I mean, tough movements, but just focusing on quality is the way to go here. Okay. I'm trying to think how exactly I want to do this. I want to focus on our Cossack squat. I don't want to do it on the wall, okay? I want to do it from a wide angle position. So I would say feet about a foot past shoulder width, and we still want the midlines of the feet to be parallel here. Here we go. Let's stand wide angle, hands on hips. Good. We'll do it together. So we're keeping mountain pose legs here. We're keeping mountain pose in the body, and then I'm going to have you hinge forward in a wide angle. Pulling the ribs in, hands remain on hips. And then from here, the body comes forward completely into a front bend. Again, shoulders moving away from the ears. Kneecaps are on legs. And the hips, the weight is on the balls of the feet so that the hips come forward a bit. And we're just breathing in this front bend. Let's place our hands on the ground. And then we're going to just shift our right knee over our right ankle. And then we're going to come back up to center. The feet stay flat on the ground. And then we'll shift the left knee over the left ankle and come back to center. And then front bend. Hands on the ground or on your legs. And then come up to center. Right knee over right ankle. Left knee over left ankle. Front bend. So that's our pattern there, okay? Can you do that on your own time? And so I feel like that wall is going to get in the way of your butt. Or is that saving you, Mom? That's a good, actually, that's nice. That's keeping you if you fall back or something. I like it. Okay, never mind. Carry on. Carry on. Good, everybody. And so the big thing we're going for here is a nice front bend. It's not often I give you a stretch without some substantial work involved. So enjoy that. And then shifting that right knee right over the right ankle, which means that you got to slide the hips back as you do that a bit to get the knee right over the ankle. And we're trying to keep our feet flat on the ground the whole time there. Good. Okay, about 30 more seconds of this. Hands are on the ground, shifting the knee over the ankle and the hips back. Going to center, stretching. Knee over ankle, hips back. Come on up to standing and shake it off. So basically that was wide angle to side lunge. Wide angle to side lunge. Wide angle to side lunge. So that deep side lunge, ideally, it looked like you all did it. You went as deep as you can go before something needed to happen to go deeper. That something deeper, my friends, when you're in that side lunge, there's a certain point where you just can't go much further. without something changing, and that is this foot coming up. So that foot comes off the ground onto the back of the heel so that the knees are coming up. Look, this is the same leg as a wide angle. It's the same leg as what we worked at the beginning of class, everyone. Just the other leg is in a lunge, side lunge. So, you know what's coming next. Playtime, everybody. You're going to do wide angle, front bend, just like we did before. Wide angle, front bend, just like we did before. You're going to lift the spine. You're going to work that side lunge. And once you hit that wall, play with turning the hips up. You keep your hands on the ground and keep your body forward. That'll just keep it so that you don't fall back, Mom, right? Gives you a little cantileverage. And only go so far as you can. Once you've gone as far as you can, return to your wide angle. Come out of wide angle, work your side lunge. Once you've gone as deep as you can, then you try to lift the foot or externally rotate the leg. And look, maybe you can only do this, or maybe just that side lunge is what you got in you today, and that's great. But here's what we're ultimately working toward. Cossack squat. Cossack squat transitions you into Janushirasana. So wide angle is the legs straight and wide, standing or seated. We're front bending in this wide angle. We're playing with side lunge, and if we have a little more mobility, then we're working on turning that leg up for our Cossack squat. I'm keeping an eye. Looking good, Terry. Just work those hips back, which means, Terry, you could bring your body all the way forward while you're in the Cossack squat. So think about leaning the body forward just to give yourself a little bit more room to bring your hips back. There it is. There you go. So it's a bit of a compensation to lean forward, Terry. It's a bit of a compensation to lean forward, but it'll help you in the long run. I'm looking at everyone here. Yeah, Mom, you're just work on that side lunge, keeping the foot flat on the ground. That's it. Knee over the ankle and hips back. There it is, Mom. Yeah. And so when we work Cossack squat, for a while, Mom, you just work side lunge. Dan, you too, man. I want to see that knee over the ankle. Milan, let me see you. Yeah. I'm going to demonstrate the difference between side lunge and Cossack squat. Side lunge is your foot is flat. Your knee is over your ankle. That's right. Cossack squat is your straight leg foot is turned up. Okay, carry on, everyone. We're working this for a few more minutes or a minute or so more. Hey, Milan, there you go. Drive the hips back a little bit more. So put more weight on the heel. Yeah. Okay, let's see here. Good. Mama Dukes, are you able to bring your feet a little bit wider? Yeah, if you bring your feet wider, then that might get you deeper in the Cossack squat. Dan, looking good there, man. Yeah, you got a little further. Okay, everyone. Return to center. Shake everything off. So functionally speaking, that just requires a lot of hip mobility. And ultimately, what we're trying to get is like that squat alignment in the low leg as much as we can without the knee collapsing in or anything like that. And that takes time, being able to keep the body upright here. It takes time and repetition. And this is a really good start for everyone to get working into that. We've all got the fundamentals down. It's just going to take repetition. So, okay, today we worked on active seat, active twisting. We worked on pressing from a seated position, with the transition of starting to walk the feet back and forward, as well as jumping the feet back and forward. A little bit of chaturanga, deep squats, Cossack squat. So let's if you are, well, you know what, I'm not going to do it to you. It looks like you're doing it, Terry. Terry's down in his deep squat. If you feel like finishing strong, you could work Utkatasana, deep seat, as much as you can. Maybe sit down and then roll yourself down, vertebra by vertebra, to Sukhasana, or excuse me, to Shavasana. We're taking this time just to turn the physical action in the body off and just focus on the singular action of the breath. That subtle yet heightened awareness. That awareness of what's happening in the landscape of the body and the inner space of the mind. Inhaling to expand through the ribs and the back and the belly. Exhaling to release and surrender to the ground beneath you a little more. With each successive breath, finding a little more ease in the body. So we'll start to bring some movement to the outer edges of the body and the musculature of the face. Blinking the eyes and opening and closing the mouth. Circling the wrists and the feet. Maybe bend the knees and Flatten the feet to the ground, windshield wiper the knees left to right. Excellent. I usually do a big yawn and stretch whenever I do this. Some patterning for some reason. It usually feels really good.